The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network. This is Vince Russo's The Brand.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching the show. Welcome to the Bolin Alley co-host reunion show. We got a good one for you today. All your favorite co-hosts from the past, including Rob Dicken and Harry Barnett. So we're going to get started here and throw it to Kenny.
Wait a minute. All the favorites and Rob Dicken in there? Is that what you said? What the hell?
I meant they were included.
Did I ever get any love on this show?
I did say there was two assholes that wouldn't
Dicken.
be invited today, but I didn't mean Harry and Rob. That's not the two assholes I was talking about. There's two other assholes. It's not them. They're invited. They're welcome guests. They're the two longest reigning hosts on this show somehow. I don't know how. Apparently, I can't get along with anybody, according to people. So we'll see. So how you doing, Rob? You were, other than Tommy Fierro, I believe you were the first co-host of the Bolin Alley. Ran several years. I don't think it was quite 5 because Harry likes to remind everybody that it wasn't 5 years. But how many years was it? I know that one of the biggest shows we ever did was that one with Diamond Dallas Pate.
Yeah.
We had the Honky Tonk Man. We had the Honky Tonk Man a time or two.
Yeah.
And I even co-hosted his show once or twice. And so we had some good times during there. Do you recall the year we started and all that?
I think it was either 2009 or 2010, I think.
Sounds about right.
And then I think we went up through 2013.
I think it was about a 4-year run, if I remember correctly, because Harry was real happy when he got to year 5. He thought that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Now, if you make it past week
Trust me, I heard all about it.
if you make it past week 3, you've really accomplished something these days. So welcome aboard, Rob, and get some memories in your minds. Anything you want to talk about? What a pain in the ass I was. I'm sure that's why we didn't invite 2 of them. They would have told everybody how horrible I was to work with and for. And plus, they're cocksuckers. So we'll just
I think overall, your show is probably one of the easiest ones that I've ever been involved with because we didn't really plan anything. We just kind of we shot from the hip on stuff, and that was pretty much it. I mean,
that's pretty much what me and Russo do on Bucket Full of Chicken Necks. I log in at 10 o'clock in the morning, which I hate doing. And he's on at 8 in the morning, his time in Colorado. And Mr. Bolin, are you ready to do a show? I said, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go, Mr. Bolin. And that's the preparation. And he claims he prepares for hours. And he has the topics and what he wants to talk about. And then I found out, I just play along with whatever the hell he throws at me. And the last 2 or 3 shows have always had a little bit of a Jim Cornette flavor to him because he got mad when I snuck him in on Russo's show. So he got mad about that. I don't know why, but he did. And so that's your introduction for now, and then we're going to get everybody in. So now, who else we got on here? We got Harry Barnett. He was the third co-host. Tommy Fierro we don't have on here because he said he might be busy. So Tommy Fierro was too busy. And so there's Harry over there in London, England, still holding that goddamn microphone exactly the way I used to tell him not to. Jesus goddamn Christ. Ain't learned.
You told me to hold it this way so I'd actually be able to hear me.
Well, I actually hear you this time. So you might be, you know what you were doing? I figured out what you were doing wrong after all these years. There's 2 ways that you can talk into these mics, the right way and the wrong way.
I was doing it the wrong way.
Yeah, and if I were to turn this microphone around and have the logo that you see now come back around, you sound like shit, and I would sound like shit. So you were talking into the wrong side, and so if you're talking in what you want to be talking into, this is a little lesson for everybody that buys these microphones, and we've sold a shitload of them somehow. Wherever the click is, where you see the click, that's the side you want to be talking into, or the side that you see the company logo. You, unfortunately, do not have the Bolin Club logo on yours, but we'll see what we can do to rectify that in the future.
Well, we could always put one of my logos on there as well, because I've got the T-shirt, the hat.
You're the only foreign host that we've ever had on the show, right?
Unless you count Rob Dicken from Parts Unknown.
From Parts Unknown. Well, yeah, I think those parts were
the opposite side of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, the opposite side.
Yeah.
The opposite side. Yeah, that other side. And who else we got here? Now we got And let me go ahead and get Adam Broach in here. He is the what is your self-title given of me, Adam? What's your title? My designated what?
Your personal publicist.
Personal publicist. Now I want to apologize to everybody because poor old Adam is down there in Alabama, and it was bad enough. What
on dial-up apparently.
It's bad enough what happened to his
Cap
Auburn
and string.
and the Alabama Crimson Tide wins the title down there, which he is not a fan of. They've had snow down there this year, more snow than we've had here in Louisville. And you've been obsolete for a while. We haven't seen a lot of you. What have you been doing? What have you been up to? You think I'd hear from my publicist more often than I do? And he's gone
For a few weeks.
Yeah, you've had some hospital issues. For once, it's my hosts that are in the hospital and not me. I actually have like a 15-month run here of not being in a hospital, which feels weird. So that's been going good. So are things going better now? Looks like you're home. You don't appear to be in a hospital room.
No, I'm at home here with this crappy dial-up DSL internet.
You got the DSL. I thought you had the AOL dial-up there for a moment. I wasn't real sure, and I didn't know you could get AOL.
I kind of wish I had the dial-up.
But as we've seen during the elections down there, Alabama's about 40 years behind the times anyway, so it wouldn't shock me if AOL was a big deal down there right now.
I still have people that have AOL email addresses I communicate with on a daily basis. So, yeah, we are behind the times.
High-speed internet down there has a turtle as a logo for the company that runs it, right? I just checked it.
Absolutely.
Got to throw some of this shit out. Now, also in here with us tonight, and believe it or not, we're going to get to Jason Marshall. We'll let him wait. He's not here all the time anymore. Ben Hamin.
Yes.
What the? How did you get in here? You were never a co-host on my show. What the hell are you doing in here?
That's right. They said I heard that the greatest manager of all time was hosting a show tonight, so I figured I had to be on here because they were talking about me, not Armando Estrada or any of these morons.
Not Estrada.
Meantime, I took over Russo's show, and now I'm taking over the Brolin Alley. It'll be the Hamin Alley soon enough, and that's right, infidels. Because I'm down with the king for years, about 10 of them, recruiting suckers, Hamin and Bolin, and making men of them, tears and fears for my peers. They're ripping in Hamins on the Brolin Alley, so y'all be tripping. And that's right, all of your stupid little co-hosts don't impress me at all. That one over there looks like a failed prototype for a sex doll. I don't know what his name is over there. For pedophile sex doll, and that other one should cover his face. I'm getting a glare off that shiny head, and I don't even know Harry over there. He's lucky to be back on with me. I'll verbally slap him down too, as well as stupid morons.
You just described every host I had. How do I know which one looks like a prototype for a sex doll? A
pedophile sex doll right there. Your new host over there.
You're going to have to break it down to the guy in the orange hat or the guy with the blue mic.
And then earlier,
the bald guy with a hat, we got him over there. And apparently Maya and the Prince are late joining us tonight. They were on the test.
Maya was on earlier, and she didn't have her face covered in front of all these infidels. I said, "You're out of here. Go upstairs and cover that face. I'm the only one who gets to see that."
I've been trying to tell her to cover that face for about 3.5 years, and it ain't panned out yet.
It'll take her 4 to a 7.
If you don't mind, Ben, I'm a little nervous having you in here tonight because you're the one that replaced me on the Raw review show. Do you care to tell the people how that happened?
And the numbers have never been higher, King B. That's right.
Now you're Ben Hamin, not Donald Trump, right?
Yes, record numbers on the Raw 25th show on Russo brand, the number 3 show in all history of the brand.
Yes. Well, don't you think maybe that was because it was the Raw 25th anniversary and that maybe you didn't have
Russo
shit
wasn't even on it. I kicked Russo off his own show as well. It was just Hacker Hamin, Stevie Richards, and that moron Jeff Lane.
Russo was too busy to do his own damn show. That's how I got on there, because he was too busy to do it, and they drug me in on it, and I had to do it with that ball-headed goof. That led to some shit, and that's how I ended up on it.
Going to be a grandfather, giant, and that doesn't impress me. I've got 1,126 kids. Having a new child doesn't impress me at all.
Now, when I knew you, you only had 1,080. So apparently the wives have been a little busy, or the grandkids.
Yes, that's right. Well, it's a long, cold winter here in the secret classified bunker. I have to do what I need to do, King B, to keep my legacy alive. There's a war in Saudi Arabia right now in the House of Saud, and I need to provide new princes.
I appreciate you doing what you have to do, and obviously it's not masturbation. So
no, never that. Variety is the spice of life.
And you have tons of it. How many wives now? How many?
438 this week. I had to knock off about 20 for not getting the chores done.
Beheaded, I'm sure.
Butts from the Hamin 500, like the PWI 500 list. We had to knock a couple off of there.
Do the beheadings happen here in America, or do you drag them across the Canadian border? Because I know you're very close to it up there.
I'm all over the place. I'm underground. But right now, I want to introduce to you the other man. I took over his show, the greatest writer of all time, and now the podcast legend himself with the great Ben Hamin. It's the great Vince Russo, infidels. Hear him now. YOLO.
Has Grandpapa Vinny made it into the podcast tonight here on the Bolin? Look at all these faces. Look at all these boxes. This is how you do a show here, Grandpa Vinny.
You see, Mr. Bolin, you see how much everyone loves you, Mr. Bolin, that we are all here upon your command, Mr. Bolin.
The Prince rolling in here as simultaneously as you rolled in. Prince, do a sound check there. So
hey, how's the audio?
There we go. I think we're good. Well, Vince, it's truly an honor to have you in here. And now I know you call me Mr. Bolin, and that's apparently gotten a lot of talk on the internet. And we had some audio glitches on last week's show that you kept pointing out during the show, Mr. Russo. I figured out what happened. And I was going to wait and cover this on our show, The Bucket Full of Chicken Necks. But speak for me, Vince, so we can see your microphone and what you've got sitting on your microphone, Mr. Russo.
Well, who's sitting on my microphone? You mean little Sami Zayn right here sitting on my microphone, bro. Look at him, live and in person.
What I figured out, the reason you were getting that echo, because we weren't getting that echo over here, it was coming over there. And what I had figured out was going on, that every time you speak into your microphone, the reverberation was going up the crack of the butt of Sami Zayn and going out of his mouth and causing an echo over there at the Russo headquarters.
Be careful what you say, Mr. Bolin, because little Sami Zayn is Mr. Bin Hamin's favorite wrestler.
No,
that's been established on our show. Yes,
likes. Oh, is that true, Ben?
You're gonna get that reverberation and echo because there's a big empty space where all of his talent should be. So all of the sound goes up in there and chambers around inside of it. And holy cow, Catbox! I didn't think you could look any worse. You're 20 years older than the last time I saw you, infidel.
It's been a hard 10 years, Ben. I mean, it's been a hard 10 years.
You know he hates to be called the Catbox. Why are you bringing it back after 20 years?
Yes.
I would just call him to say I will be back in about 15 minutes. I got to go pick up Maya.
You're not going to be back in 15 minutes. She lives 20 minutes away. Why do you underestimate the time?
Because I like to lie. It's just something I do compulsively. I can't help myself. I have a sickness.
Oh my God, there's a cat.
I like that cat.
He will be lucky to be back here in 45 minutes, folks. There's no way in hell he's going to be back in.
His wife is
20 minutes away.
I'm leaving.
I thought you were only here because of your Russo sensor.
Vince, let me introduce you.
Everywhere Vince is.
Don't know yet. You haven't met Harry Marshall. No, not Harry Marshall.
Harry Marshall.
I don't know him either. Jason Marshall there in Dayton, Ohio. We have Harry Barnett in London, England. Ben Hamin will not reveal where the hell he is. We've been trying to find out because I think people are wanting to drop a bomb on him. And, of course, Vince Russo. And I don't know the exact city, maybe Colorado Springs, Denver, Boulder. I don't know where he's at. He won't tell me either. I can't even send him a letter to get my pay. All right, and everybody, we got 9 people in here, and everybody shuts up. So
now, who's Rob? Who's Rob Dicken?
Dicken. Rob Dicken was the second ever host of the Bowling Alley. We started out with Tommy Fierro on Who's Slamming Who, and then for the better part of 4 years, we had Rob Dicken. I was even Rob's roommate for a year or two. He don't like to tell people about that because he spent about 3 years trying to evict me out of the 2 years I was with him.
You did sell me a couch.
Absolutely. Who's that maid you got back there behind you? She's going to clean up in the business. I have no doubt about that.
Ben Hamin Center here.
Ben Hamin Center, one of his 148 wives.
Yeah.
Ben's got a lot of wives. I think he said 1,100 and some odd.
Oh, that's how many children? 438 wives.
Yeah, it was only like 138 when you were in OVW, but you weren't making the money then you are now.
Oh, that's right. I'm a king of the industry.
Well, I told everybody, Mr. Russo, I was a little nervous to have Ben Hamin on here tonight because he's already done a hostile takeover and got me kicked off the Raw review show. I used to be a big star. And he was on here bragging about the ratings, by the way, the Raw 25. And I'm going to rat Hamin out real quick. He said he kicked you off your own show, and the reason they got those ratings is because Mr. Russo wasn't on it, and that it was him and Sweet Stevie Cool that were dragging in all the ratings.
Well, I mean, there might be some about that. I mean, I wasn't on the show, and the show did a monster number, and I give all the credit to where the credit is due. You got to give it to Mr. Hamin, and you got to give it to Stevie, and also let's not forget Jeff Lane was on that show. But yeah, man, I was not a part of that show.
I did forget that Jeff Lane was on that show.
Yeah,
I would like to point
his
out
other name, Ruby Riot.
Ruby Riot. Yeah.
That's his other name. I did point out to your defense that maybe that it wasn't the fact that Vince Russo wasn't on the show, that really Sweet Stevie Cool and Ben Hamin had nothing to do with it, that maybe it was because it was the review of the absolutely horrible and atrocious Raw 25th anniversary show, and that maybe they wanted to see what Vince Russo had to say about it, and they were lured in under false expectations. How do you respond?
Well, no, you know what? You can look at it at several different ways, but I don't want to take anything away from those guys, man. I mean, they did a good show. You know, unlike Raw, people tuned in at the beginning and stayed for the entire show. So while they got the people there, they certainly entertained them.
Yeah.
So I think they did a great job, man.
Ben Hamin and Sweet Stevie Cool you're referring to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you won't say what you said to me privately on Bucket Full of Chicken Necks, that these two suck and they need to be replaced immediately. You won't.
Come Mr. Bolin. Come on.
Well, see, being as I have cheated death last week, I'm just kind of walking out on a very short plank and just revealing some things that maybe the people don't know about. And
you better watch yourself tomorrow when you start that Cadillac up. It might be the last day for you, King B.
How'd you know I have a Cadillac?
I know what you're driving all the time. I see it all.
Good God. Never safe with Ben Hamin around. So that leads us to Jason Marshall, the new host of the Bowling Alley. And the people on here bragging, well, I hosted for 4 years. Harry Barnett hosted for 5 years. How many shows have you got under your belt now, Jason Marshall?
I've done 188 as of this week.
No, I mean
the current podcast I'm hosting.
No, not that piece of shit. I mean with me.
I'm trying to get in a cheap plug, man.
I notice every show you do with me, you're getting in a cheap plug, plugging that crappy ass show that you did. I resurrected you from that show, brought you to prosperity, getting you on camera with Vince Russo. You've been begging to meet Mr. Russo. There he is. Say hello to Mr. Russo.
Hello, Mr. Russo. And
Kenny,
I promise I will not bring up We Don't Have Cookies, which is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and SiriusXM.
Plugs with a passion. He hates them.
Kenny, what's with all the bald gentlemen? Or every single one of your former co-hosts is bald. Everyone, look at that.
Do you really think that I'm going to have anybody on with prettier hair than me other than you?
Absolutely not.
No, me and you, man, we're going to run the roost on the hair. But, I never noticed that. Every damn one of them. What is going on with that?
And I got to tell you, for the couple of times that I've heard,
he got rag off his head, so I don't know what he's got going on over there.
For a couple of times that I've heard, Gentleman Harry, I never pictured him that way, and that's why it's great that I'm getting to see you, Harry. I always pictured you as like an English gentleman, maybe wearing a top hat and a little, what do they call that thing? A follicle, a monocle. Yeah, but no, you're looking at.
He doesn't have any follicles, I'll promise you that.
You could be a Ben Hamin's younger brother, for crying out loud.
Well, Vince, appearances can be deceiving.
He's definitely not a gentleman either.
I'm always looking for new suicide bombers and bodyguards as well. Something.
Mr. Bolin, this is how he makes comments like that, and then I get all the emails. All the emails come to me that I better watch Ben Hamin because he's sending messages through the airwaves, and
So is he threatening suicide bombers on the Raw review show?
No, that was actually a first.
That was a first.
How do you think we get these numbers? There's never been higher numbers in tune-ins in Yemen, Somalia, Saudi Arabia. We're taking over the entire Middle East market.
It could be the last show if you're on it. I mean, you drop a bomb on any of us. We just don't know.
Now you're starting to get it.
What I want to know is why didn't you drop a bomb on the Barclays Center on that Raw 25th anniversary show?
I thought it'd be good payback for Guantanamo Bay for you to be tortured for a while, once in a while. That's right.
What about the Manhattan Center? Those people were pretty
that's the Abu Ghraib payback attack right there.
Well, where's Sweet Stevie tonight? Sweet Stevie has never been on the bowling alley.
Probably working out right now, doing his Stevie Richards Fitness resistance band workout. You can go to StevieRichardsFitness.com and get back on your New Year's resolution, because I know all of you infidels already gave up. It was pizza night at Planet Fitness, and you were over there sucking down pizza and Tootsie Rolls.
That's funny you mentioned that, because the Prince and myself and Maya a few years ago joined Planet Fitness, and the night we went over was pizza night. They have pizza night at a fitness center. How serious can anybody possibly be about getting in shape when you're on the bikes eating a slab of pizza? Rob says, hell, I might join Planet Fitness if that's the case. Go over and get me some damn pizza.
Judgment free.
Excuse me?
Judgment free.
Judgment free. Yeah, they don't judge over there, Vince, in case you're wondering. You got Planet Fitnesses out there in Colorado?
I think so. You need to sell Mr. Dicken one of those bowling microphones. He sounds like he's in some kind of an echo chamber with his $2 microphone over there.
We're gonna have to upgrade his equipment over there. Now I know he's got good microphones. You've had them.
Yeah, I do have better microphones. I'm talking to you from a Mac, so
you're talking to me from a Mac.
Yeah, and if Chris was there, he'd tell me what a big piece of shit it is. So
yeah, Chris ain't fond of the Mac.
Yeah.
Now take a look. Harry, if you'll speak there real quick. Harry Barnett over in London, England, not near Bath. That's from what I've heard.
I'm not from London, but I will speak for you.
You notice what he's got in his hand there, don't you, Vince? He's got one of the Bolin Media microphones, one of the first ever customers I ever had.
Yeah, I see that. Very nice. Very nice.
And all this is because of Vince. You see what Vince has got there. Vince's first ever Bolin Media microphone is so old. I think Alexander Graham Bell used that same microphone, if I ain't mistaken.
Well, I wonder if Alexander Graham Bell straddled it like little Sami Zayn is.
I don't think he did. There's no pictures that back that up. So where did you get your little Sami Zayn? Where did he come from?
Somebody sent them to me. Somebody sent them to me in the mail, and I appreciated the gift, and I just figured I'd make him a part of the show.
Haven't we all equally bashed Sami Zayn enough that would be the last thing anybody would send you in the mail would be a Sami Zayn doll?
I think that was the idea.
Could be. I'm not hearing the echo tonight. Did you put underwear on Sami Zayn, and we're not getting the reverberation from his anal orifice that we got?
I put a tongue on Sami Zayn.
On it. A tongue or a thong, Vince?
A tongue.
A tongue? Is that different than a thong?
Yeah, one of the things you grab the hot dogs off the barbecue. I shoved one of those up his backside.
That is a tongue.
Yeah,
I thought you meant you put a thong on him to.
No. I shoved the tongue up his ass.
Damn, that's brutal. That is brutal. Anybody got any questions for Vince? Because I don't know how long Vince.
Don't make this the Vince show. Come on, I want to hear these guys, man.
Okay, all right. Well,
guys, let me hear something from them.
We were so graced with your visit that
I want Mr. Bolin stories. Give me Mr. Bolin stories that I haven't heard before. Come on, you guys. You were a co-host. Everybody give me a story.
We'll start with Rob Dicken first. Each of you tell the worst story that you know on me that you personally know is true. We'll start with Dicken.
Can you hear me? Because I plugged in my good microphone.
There you go. You sounding better though.
All right. I think probably most of y'all have known Kenny when he's been at his best, but I've seen Kenny when he's been at his worst. And I think the visit to the hospital in late 2012.
Yeah, that was December of 2012.
Yeah, that was probably there were some funny parts.
When I had $7,500 cash under my ass because we were shopping for a place to live.
Yeah, and you were afraid Cornette was trying to hone in on that and steal from you. But that was probably the worst experience I had with Kenny because I'll be honest with you, I didn't know if he was going to make it. So that was probably the worst experience.
I told that story to Vince last week that they would tell you guys that I might not make it, but they'd never tell me. So I'm cracking jokes and having a good time and teasing all the nurses and you and Timmy John and Trailer Park Trash, who was a friend then. I think he was down there looking for the money as well. They were telling you guys that I had a 50-50 shot of walking out of there, but they weren't telling me. And that has happened twice now that you guys got the info, but so I guess to keep my spirits up, they didn't tell me. So in case Vince thought I was lying, and I was speaking, so it was a possibility.
Yeah, and sometimes you were speaking kind of out of your ass because you didn't know what you were saying with some of the meds you were on.
I was on some serious meds at that time, and I know Chris and Maya have a great story about when I had my most recent surgery, about when I cussed out an entire fourth floor wing, because the fourth floor is where I normally ended up at, and they were making some noise that I didn't like, and I was yelling at them to shut up and turn that damn noise down because I just had come out of surgery and was really messed up. And so I'm cussing them out, and I'm using the strongest language possible to encourage them to make this noise go away. And they said, "Hey, Mr. Bolin, there's people up here on this floor that are on death's door, and you need to hold it down." I said, "Well, if they're on death's door, screw them." I said, "I'm planning on living. It's to cater to me and not the ones that are going to drop dead." And that really got them mad. So I was told I said that. I don't remember saying it, but they told me I did.
Well, I think that whole year of 2012 was probably, if you would look back on it, was one of your worst.
That was a rough year. That was a rough
because you got. Well, you didn't get evicted, but you were getting kicked out of your apartment.
Well, they wanted me to they jack my rent up $300 a month over me having two Labradors that they said were over the weight limit.
Yeah.
And I think it was me that they felt was over the weight limit, but they jacked my rent up $300 a month, and I had no choice.
Yeah.
I couldn't stay there. And that's what they did. They forced me out because they didn't want dogs over 35 pounds there, even though I signed a lease stating that I could. So, and that was
and at that time, I was living out in Milan, Indiana.
Milan, where Hoosiers was Indiana. Filmed, Vince. That's where Hoosiers was filmed.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And everything.
So I was living out there, and you had talked to me, previously. You said, "Hey, look, I don't know what my housing situation is going to look like here coming up. Do you mind if I, come stay with you for a little bit?"
And I wanted out of OVW anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't have a problem with that because I could have used the company living as far out as I was. And
you were out there, and Misty and Jackson and Sylvester all came out there and had the run of the farm. So those were
pretty much.
Let's now go to Ben Hamin. Ben, what horrible thing do you know about me from my OVW days?
Well, one of the things that made me most irate about you, Kenny Bolin, was probably 2007.
Yeah.
When I was starting to do my worst work there, and I turn around one day and I see that you've got Alicia Fox sitting on your lap.
I did.
And then the next day you have Katie Lee, the cat, Katie Lee, sitting on your lap and rubbing your back. And ODB rubbing your shoulders that next day. And every time I turn around, doesn't matter if it's Soze or Serena or Beth Phoenix, all these women are attracted to you. They want to know what's inside that big briefcase of yours and take a ride in the Cadillac up to Golden Corral to get a free meal out of the deal.
They all did.
That was probably the worst thing. Maybe not bad for you, but it was horrible for me to turn around and see that.
Do you really want to piss Vince Russo off and tell him that Mickey James used to sit on my lap at OVW?
James, oh no, I'm very triggered.
I'm more impressed with the Alicia Fox because Mickey James. I look at Mickey James now as Mrs. Nick Aldis, so some of the joy has been taken away. But Alicia Fox, that's impressive right there.
Yeah. Now, me and Alicia got along very well, and of course Maurice. Let's just say that for the Miz there was the King. And we'll just leave that at that. And
we're lucky.
Yeah,
you were lucky 2007 Harvey Weinstein didn't get busted then. Otherwise, you might have been in hot water, King B. They would have set a precedent and come after you.
It could be me. Vince and I have talked about that on a couple of recent shows, that all it takes is just one disgruntled girl to get a little hot, and then all of a sudden your career takes a different turn. Fortunately, Ben Hamin showed me how to hide all my money. And it's blood out of a turnip here, son. You ain't gonna find a dime over here on my campground. Yes. And of course, Ben Hamin used to get me 27 cents a gallon gas because I'd come down and drive the Cadillac. Right, that's how you remember I got a Cadillac. That's all I've ever had, and you get it all up for me for 27 cents a gallon. And gas was
$4 a gallon at that time during the George Bush era.
Yeah, it's $4.40 a gallon back then. So Ben saved me a boatload of money. So Ben and I got along for the most part, other than we looked over and saw Alicia Fox getting a little snuggly with me. He didn't care for that too much. Hey, man, you had 100 wives. I can't have 10.
Well, I want the best ones. I want all top 10s. I want the top 10 of the PWI 500, the Hamin wives list. They should all be mine. And I'm over here in this guy's trying to take them all.
Now that I think about it, the ugliest one I had was ODB.
But still, she would be, she was a rough rider. That was still a nice time, a nice night out. Absolutely, when she'd take you to Fox and Hound and drink around the house. Yes. And Tracy Brooks, I remember Man Beast was down there with Tracy Brooks and ODB on his 21st birthday doing shots out of their cleavage. And then when he puked in the VIP room at the bar that night as well. And then the next night they were back with you again. So I don't know what kind of deal you had with the mobile homers, but you never threw any of that top 10 tail my way, King B. I always had to get some of my own. So that's my worst memory of you, King B.
I knew if I threw it your way, then you had enough cash that I wouldn't get them back. I couldn't lure them your way. And
now you wonder why I took his spot, because I've got heat with him since back in the day. It doesn't matter. And you're lucky that fat English moron Twinkle Toes Martin Evans isn't here on the show. He's with you as well.
Another one of my
rip him apart too.
Another one of my foreign announcers that used to sit side by side with me at the OVW shows, and let's not forget little Timmy Baltimore down there in Florida.
I tried to have him killed as well. I almost took him out this year. Timmy Baltimore, pathetic.
Why did you try to kill
God's
Timmy
joke is what I call him. He's God's joke at this point.
Oh, good Lord. Poor little Yeah, he got all the tail too. Do you remember that? Timmy got all
sympathy. Well, maybe I'll walk with a limp and drive a Cadillac, and I'll get some divas of my own, morons.
Okay, well, I'm awfully glad we've got Ben Hamin on the show tonight.
That's right. What
that leads to me now.
The dogs of war are going off. You can catch me tomorrow on Russo brand right after SmackDown. I have to go do some transcendental meditation so I don't go ballistic after having to watch that show and go on a shooting spree myself, infidels. So you've looked into the Brolin Alley. King B, congratulations on 13 billion downloads, infidel.
Thank you. Yeah, it's right at 13 billion now. I appreciate you pointing out the number.
All right, y'all infidels, and all you stupid co-hosts, give yourself a $5 face slap and pay me $5 to hackerhamin@gmail.com. Vince, I'll see you tomorrow, boss. Y'all.
All right, Mr. Hamin. Take care, my friend.
Right. If we could only got rid of him 10 minutes ago. That leads me to Harry Barnett. Harry, what embarrassing story have you got? You've actually been here to see me, by the way.
Yeah, and that was a pleasant time. I was actually going to go with the time you sold Rob Dicken his furniture back.
That was a good deal. Oh, Rob, he got a good deal on his furniture. That was the story Cornette told us, that I sold Rob Dicken his furniture back to him. Rob, do you remember how that went? There was a deal made for furniture, and somehow you bought some back. And
I don't remember, because you were always a swindler when it came to rent. So,
Vince, I'm starting to regret ever having this damn show. They're making me out to be a not so honest guy. But I think some of you may have already knew that. So, and Jason Marshall, by the way, Jason has we've been working together for about 5 years. We're not new at this. We've been doing shows on his, what's that cookie show you got that you love to brag about so much?
So we don't have cookies, and we started off on my old radio show, if you remember that.
And that was, that was an FM show there in Dayton, right?
Yeah.
And so, we started out doing that, and he told me, and I used to take great honor in this, that I was the only so-called non-comedian that was on his shows, and he said I got a greater response than a lot of the comedians got, and all the comedians wanted me to do stand-up. That's was just one problem. I can't stand up. So that killed that. So what's the most embarrassing story you got over those 5 years?
I would have to say, when I was doing the radio show.
Why am I doing this? I'm an idiot.
I had a local comedian. I was doing both the radio show and the podcast. This happened on the radio show. I told you that a local comedian got more downloads on my podcast than you did.
That upset me.
That upset you very much, and you went off for about 5 to 10 minutes. We finally got you off of it. We talked about something else for maybe 5 minutes, and then the rest of the show was nothing but you bashing that guy and going through his friends list and looking at his pictures and making fun of him.
Was that the guy that committed suicide here a while back?
No, he's... I guess it's public knowledge, so I'm not really throwing the guy under the bus, but... He's in jail right now for kidnapping.
He went to the loony bin too, right?
Yeah, for a little.
What did I tell everybody? This guy's a criminal and he's a nut.
Yeah,
so
which is why I got so many downloads. The guy had so many crazy stories.
Yeah, well, of course they were crazy. He's a nut. So I did predict and call that. It looks like Mr. Russo is actually working while we're doing the podcast.
Know what I'm doing, Mr. Bolin, and I hate to leave the party, but I got to get ready to watch Raw in a couple of minutes. That's why I'm getting my little notebook out here so I could take my notes.
Yeah, you're about 9 minutes away. Did you notice he said I gotta watch Raw?
I do, bro. It's a job, man. It's a job. No, I'm no doubt it's a job.
It is a job. I remember it, and I greatly appreciate you relieving me in that job. And now I got that little candy ass job with you on Wednesdays where we do bucket full of chicken necks. And I just wake up very early. As a matter of fact, I was going to request, can we start doing those at about 4 in the afternoon?
Let's not get panicky.
Do we have to do those at 10 in the morning?
Let's not get panicky.
All right. And is that a Georgetown Hoya hoodie you got on there, Vince?
No, it's I got this. Look at this hoodie. I got nice $3 at Goodwill over the weekend.
Get out of here.
Yeah, $3.
I would wear that. Well, I would.
Very heavy. It's very warm. $3.
And Vince Russo spotted at the Goodwill. Are you expecting?
Mr. Bolin, I cannot tell you, and this is an absolute shoot. I cannot tell you the last time I bought a piece of clothing at a legitimate department store.
Wow.
I get all my clothes from Goodwill.
Well,
except the pants. I won't buy pants. You know, my shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts. I get all that stuff from Goodwill. Pants, I'll buy it. You know, if I Walmart for them.
You're an off the rack guy. You can walk in, you can just buy off the rack.
Oh yeah, and always go to the clearance rack. Always. I've never paid regular price for any piece of clothing in my life.
I never knew you were such a miser and a shot until I negotiated my contract with you.
Right.
I figured out
the hard way. You learn the hard way.
I learned then you was a miser, but not when it comes to your clothing. And
$3, isn't this nice? $3, bro.
Very nice. You noticed? I noticed it. I'd proudly wear that. I'd tell everybody that John Thompson of the Georgetown Hoyas gave it to me. Is what I'd do.
There you go.
Because we got everybody convinced that Tom Brady gave you that jersey that we had dinner in there in Evansville.
I wore my Brady jersey to that, huh?
Yeah. You wore your Brady jersey.
I got that at Goodwill.
God. Well, see, I told everybody Tom Brady sent it to you, and they all believed me.
No, that was about
a white lie.
That might have been $4 from Goodwill.
Wow. Either that or Tom Brady sent it to him.
One of the two. Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for dropping in. I didn't expect you to say the whole 5-hour show that we're going to do tonight, or 90 minutes. But thank you so much for dropping in. Everybody's been dying to meet you, especially Mr. Marshall there, the new host of the show. Harry, good God. Now we know why we fired him. And Rob Dicken, who apparently bragging to everybody, but he maybe that my first complex didn't evict me, but he did. So that goes on his list of accomplishments. And we're going to chug along here, maybe another hour. I don't know, but we'll see. As long as people got shit to talk about, we'll be here.
Well, it was an honor and a pleasure meeting all three of these gentlemen. Notice all three. I use gentlemen loosely when it comes to Ben Hamin. I mean, he's in a league of his own.
Yeah, there's no.
It was an honor meeting all three of these gentlemen, Mr. Bolin, and I'm very proud to be able to associate myself with you, Mr.
Well, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you Wednesday. And I have new Cornette news that you're going to love.
Oh, so we got a scoop. We got a big scoop.
Oh, well, I don't know if it's a scoop, but it's something for me and you to talk about.
I thought you were going to say you had a footage of Kylie Jenner giving birth. That would have been a.
Man, I wish I did.
All right, Mr. Bolin. That's
Ben Hamin probably has something on a surveillance camera somewhere.
All right. Well, I look forward to that news.
All right. I always get your sign off. So tonight I'm going to say, Mr. Russo, I did say good day.
Good day, sir.
All right.
We never did get to Harry's stories, though.
Yes, we did.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, he talked about me selling Dicken his furniture back.
That's right. That's right. It went back to Rob, so I just
never lived down.
Cornette's made that story to where like I bought it from him for half price, sold it back to him for double the price, then bought it back at half that price and sold it to someone else for triple the money. And but Cornette has mangled that damn story to death. And I don't even remember exactly how it all worked out. I know you ended up with my $700 surround sound receiver out of that deal.
Yeah. And then I got your leather couch.
Got the leather couch. Yeah, you got that. Do you still have it?
I don't have that one because I'd
like to have it back. I'd like to have it back if you still got it. I got that love seat behind me over there.
Well, that got sold at auction.
It got sold at auction?
Yeah, on Facebook Live.
Yeah. That's right. For whatever reason, people were coming into Facebook Live this week claiming that I had a sofa for auction. and I got a bid on it for up to $493.
Did you send it back to Dicken?
It didn't show. No, it might have been Dicken trying to buy his furniture back. I don't know.
Got me.
But no, he didn't show up and pay for it, so it's still sitting there. But no, lots of people were coming in claiming that I had a sofa for sale and for auction, and you just come in and make a bid, and so the highest bid was $493, but they never did.
Were people actually showing up to your house, or was it on Facebook?
No, it was on Facebook.
I was saying, if people were just coming to your house and just yelling a bid out,
there's not that many people that know exactly where I live, but
I bid $5.
Anytime anyone ever makes a threat, I always give them the exact street. Just say, now, if you really want me, just fucking look for the car, asshole, and find me. So yeah, I gave that offer to the bald guy that I got into a feud with on the Russo network when he said he was going to come down here and shut me up. I gave him pretty much the exact address and where the car was parked, and you're brave enough to knock on the door, come on down, motherfucker. And he didn't come, so we'll just leave it at that. So it's down to me, you, and they're just fading out of here, man.
Well, that's a good segue if you want to get
host standing match as of right now. The last host standing gets this goddamn show.
Well, I think the other guy's net zero went out, so
net zero. There's one. I think Phil Fair used to have net zero. I remember the you know what? He did go away. Where did he go?
I looked over and he was gone.
Did he have a coin slot that he was dropping internet money in, or
he went when Russo got him?
Well, okay.
Maybe Russo scared him away.
Maybe he was a little intimidated by Mr. Russo. I just noticed.
I think his internet connection just couldn't handle one more box. It was just too much.
It is Alabama, so it's probably corn fueled.
Russo may have bumped him off. He was the one that wrote me just thrilled and honored to be a part of the show because he and I had done a couple of shows, and he is my personal what did he say his title was? Personal publicist, yeah. And he met me in Memphis when we went down for that Hall of Fame thing down there in Memphis, and he's been a pretty good guy with me. He's bought a lot of my merchandise. He's bought the microphones. He's got 3 or 4 of them, and I think I might have to upgrade Marshall there. I don't like the looks of that damn thing he's got. We might have to upgrade him here soon. And Dicken, we've never upgraded. Dicken had some good microphones. Which ones are you using now?
This is the one that I've got right now.
Okay, that looks like a good one.
It's a Samsung Meteor. It's not the biggest one that they make, but it's pretty good. So
that's a Samsung, or is that
it's a Samsung. It's
Samsung.
It's more or less built for music.
Bring it up and talk closer to it. Let me see how that one works.
How does it sound? Does it sound good?
Oh yeah, that's good and clear right there.
Yeah.
I'd almost use it like that. That gives you kind of the FM feel. Like when I lean in here, mine gets a little bit, and plus I got the mixer over here, and I even have a mixer now, Dick. Can you believe that?
Oh.
Back when me and Dicken were doing shows, I either used the webcam mic or I had a little microphone that I bought on the internet for $9, and I'd drape it around my neck.
Believe it or not, he just got off Web TV.
I got off Web TV in 2000
I know.
2016. Kenny Bolin at webtv.net. That was a great address. I think you can still reach me there if you try real hard. But here's the thing, not a lot of people know. I had broadband web TV. There ain't 8 people on this goddamn planet that had broadband web TV, I'll promise you. And I got that when I moved over to Dogwood. And because I had regular web TV, which was dial-up. And then I got broadband web TV, which was an option. And that's where you had, everybody remembers how the dial-up, all that noise and shit. And then I actually got a broadband connection, and I was just fucking blown away at what broadband web TV would do. And you could design web TV web pages that were just the easiest fucking thing in the world. Even I could do them. And so that part of it I miss. But I remember over at when we went into the new building at OVW, and that I lived on, where was it? Where did I live? Fern Creek. I actually had broadband web TV over there and loving it. Had it for quite a while and used to converse with Jerry Lawler on there all the time. Now, he didn't have web TV, but I did. So, and that was, and when Jerry Lawler would write me, he'd have to write Kenny Bolin at webtv.net. So that'll teach him. And I'll tell you who else wrote me at that address was the infamous Dr. Smith Jonathan Harris from Lost in Space. He and his publicist wrote me there, and he let me know that he wanted to answer any questions that I had, but I needed to handwrite him a letter because he didn't really converse much on the internet. And so that, and he died before I could sit down and get motivated enough to write the letter. And that's one regret I've always had, because I was just fascinated by him and his work. And I regret that I never sat down and wrote that letter. And but I had web TV and I didn't do it. So what do you do? So Jason, what do you got over there? Anything new on your end?
Well, I'd like to find out how you feel about Booker T blaming Corey Graves for losing his job as a Raw commentator and threatening to kick his ass if he ever sees him in public.
Wait a minute. Corey Graves, that little pencil neck, tattooed up little shithead, threatened to whip Booker T?
No, Booker T's threatening to whip him.
Sounds more like it. And
he says he won't do it in the arena or at the airport, but if he sees him on a side street or something like that, it's on.
I know that one week Booker T was on and everything seemed fine, and the next thing I know, Jonathan Coachman's on, and I meant to look and see if Coachman lost his job at SportsCenter, but I hear he's still putting SportsCenter over. So is Coachman still there?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just know that he took his place.
Yeah, I don't know. That's how you get fired on this show. We bet our information here.
Well, at the Royal Rumble, they really seem to be getting into it a lot.
Gets on there and lies for fucking 2 hours, and then says, "Oh, really? That wasn't true? Well, that's all right. My base will believe it." We don't count on my base believing you, Jason. You said, "Yeah." Well, I don't know. So which is it? I don't know. Right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's see how easy that was. Just admit you just don't fucking know. Dicken, you're always in the ear of these people. What do you got? What information you got? What's going on with Jonathan Coachman?
I would imagine that if he's on WWE, his contract probably expired with ESPN, and he's.
Think so?
I'm pretty sure he signed a brand new contract.
No, he used to plug WWE all the time when he was on SportsCenter.
Well, I mean, I know that's why they
opened up with I imagine. So you're saying you don't know either. Is what
I don't know specifically. I'm making an educated guess.
All right, or a lack of educated guess.
Well,
Well, let me take it to England. Harry Barnett over in England, taking it easy. As a matter of fact, you have something you want to show with me tonight. I don't know what your progress is on it. I'm anxious to see it. Harry, what do you got? What's going on with Booker T? What's going on with Jonathan Coachman? Have you actually done some research and have done some real work and have some news for us here on the bowling alley? We don't run this thing like Donald Trump. We go with real documented facts here.
Kenny, I know for a fact that Jonathan Coachman
up the line right there.
No longer works for pro wrestling. What was that show you were on? You got kicked off with Dave Hero. I know he doesn't work there anymore.
I'm back. You didn't know that? I'm back.
I did not know.
Yeah, I've been brought back on as a monthly guest on on Freaky Friday or something like that, and I do a once a month show back with David Hero and the other guy.
No, you didn't tell me that. I thought he was fired from that show.
No, they're both there.
Jonathan Coachman, the one that you were saying was Jonathan Coachman.
Yeah,
is that not who we're talking about?
Let's put it this way: they have their own TV show, and I'm on it. Now, maybe they got fired from some magazine I don't know about, but the TV show that they do, I'm back on once a month. And Bill After has me doing a show with him once a month. And then I do 2 bowling alley lives. And Dicken will tell you, we used to do once a month. And I used to, now, Dicken, were you around in the once a week days?
I think we did it once every other week.
Every other week. And then me and Harry went to
we did it monthly, yeah.
Me and Fierro was every week. So I've done the every weeks. I've done the every other weeks with Dicken. And I did every other week with Brain Laced. We did every other week with him, and he lasted 2 shows. And then that backward hat wearing motherfucker, we did 2 shows with him. And there's another guy that told me not to say his name in public anymore. He was going to sue me. So fuck you, Tim Ash. I hope you drop dead. And so there's that. Sue me, motherfucker. And well, that's what I heard. That's what he's telling people. He can't reach me because I've got him blocked on every form of media there is. But apparently he's telling people he's sick of hearing me mention his name in public and talking bad about him. So fuck you, you piece of shit. I hope you drop dead. And I don't wish too many people to drop dead. But now that you think you're going to try to sue me, which good luck, Ben Hamin didn't have any luck. So there you go on that. And last we'll hear his name this week, and then next week I'll bury him again. So what was we talking about? Now that I'm mad, what was we talking about?
Booker T and Corey Graves.
Boogie T and Corey. So between the three of you, what do y'all figure happened there? What did Corey do to get Booker off the show, and why would he want him off the show? Other than that Booker ain't the greatest commentator to ever lived.
I think they just got sick of hearing them going back and forth. And after, I don't know,
Booker
what's it been, a year?
Like Corey very much at all, did he?
No, and I think that was the big thing. Back when Corey was just doing pre-shows and he was doing them with Booker, Booker always treated him like shit.
Yeah.
And made no secret that he didn't like him. So when Corey got called up
on the Raw shows, he had no use for Corey Graves.
And when Corey got called up as a main commentator, and then they put Booker T with him, I think it was in Corey's mind, it was his time to shit on Booker. And he did that very, very well, because I always liked Booker as a wrestler, but his commentary was really bad.
Yeah, I like Booker as a wrestler as well. Commentary was not his, in my opinion, was not his forte. Unlike Jerry Lawler. And I'm not particularly happy with Jerry right now. I never heard from him when my mom died, and I'm not real happy about that. But, you know, I don't bury somebody's talent when they actually have some. And Jerry Lawler is one of the best TV commentators there's ever been, along with Jim Ross. I mean, they're just gold together. That's all there is to it. But Booker, as much as I liked him as a wrestler, I was never particularly thrilled with his commentary. And I have to say, if I have a choice that I'm going to put Booker T or Jonathan Coachman in the broadcast booth, I'm going to pick Jonathan, even though I might like Booker better as a person. But business is business, and that's what you got to do if given the opportunity. But I would have never had Corey Graves out there, because Corey sucks too. Corey Graves fucking sucks as an announcer. He's terrible. And Jonathan is an excellent fucking announcer. Even though I don't know him personally, if we've met, it's been in passing. We didn't talk more than 5 minutes if we've ever met. But he's a damn good announcer. And I would have 3 others than are out there now. I'd have Coachman, and I'd pick 2 others. It wouldn't be the ones that are out there now. So there's my opinion on all that. What's your all's opinion? What 3 announcers would you all have on Raw?
Who wants to go first?
Go ahead. Being as you got the camera, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't know why they ever got rid of Jim Ross. I mean,
it's just ignorance.
I mean, to me, that's always got to be your number one.
Cornette's thing is that they said he was too old and too Southern, and that they didn't really like Jerry and him being there, and that's why they were let go multiple times and always had to bring him back because the fans demanded it.
I've always thought Jerry, the height of his commentating career was when he was able to be himself.
Yeah,
he was able to do, you know, basically what he's done throughout his career just at the commentating booth.
Mm-hmm.
When they started feeding him crap to say, you could just tell it was force fed and it just wasn't Jerry Lawler. So
I agree with that. Yeah, if you're you don't tell Jerry Lawler what to say,
right? And
what people think of my commentary ability, I don't want people trying to tell me what to say. I mean,
right?
I've been doing this shit long enough that I got a pretty good idea what to say when a heel and a face are wrestling each other in the wrestling ring. I don't need somebody in the back that really probably knows a tenth about what I know about wrestling trying to tell me what to say. And that's what's happening when you try to tell Jerry Lawler what to say about a wrestling match.
Right. Well, and I mean, my other 2 would be Michael Cole, even though I don't think that he's the greatest in the world.
He does a good job. I think he does.
I've heard him. I actually heard him call an NXT match, and I was really surprised that he could actually call it. So,
oh no, I like Michael Cole,
but I like Michael Cole, and I think Jonathan Coachman's good. So, I mean, those would be my 3. But if I had to choose a 4th, I'd probably choose William Regal, because Regal is a great talker, and I don't understand why he's never been put on to do color commentary.
He would have to be color without a doubt. Yeah. He's definitely not a play-by-play guy.
Right. And Mark, and then the guy that I don't know if he's in NXT or if he's on SmackDown or if they brought him back or if he's gone again.
He the one that got into it with JBL?
Yeah, the guy that JBL didn't like.
Yeah, I liked him. I thought he was.
I liked him too. He called a match. I mean,
he was a prototypical play-by-play guy.
Yep.
Which I admit I could never do. I'm not a play-by-play guy. Color was it, and if I had to make my living doing play-by-play, I wouldn't have eaten much. Let's put it that way. And shut up. He's got a smart ass remark.
Yeah. Well, and then I mean, as far as Corey Graves goes, I mean, I was never a fan of his just because I could tell he's being force fed a lot of crap. And everything coming out of his mouth is probably somebody at the other end of a microphone.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's got any ability otherwise or not because I've never heard. But what I'm hearing sucks, and whether that's to blame or the people in the back are, I don't know. But his commentary is just fucking horrible, and that's coming from somebody that's seen a lot of good commentators over 50 years. And I like to think I did a decent job as a color commentator, which technically is what his job is. And so I don't know. What's your opinion on that, Jason? I
like Mauro Ranallo, and
well, I think
the other guy's name, but
the right aisle at Rite Aid.
Basically the NXT announcers. I think they're the perfect team.
I'd have to listen to them again because I haven't heard them since Shinsuke and Asuka were there. So I'll have to go back and listen to them again because I honestly couldn't tell you who any of them are. So I'd have to re-listen to that. Harry, how do you feel? What's your three announcers?
I'd say a mix. I'd say a mix between what the other two have said. I'd say Coach, Cole, and Nigel McGuinness.
Nigel's one of the NXT guys, a personal friend of mine, very dear friend, and a hell of a guy. And as a matter of fact, he got kicked out of OVW once because they found out he worked for Ian Rotten, and immediately was kicked out of the building and not allowed to participate on the show, courtesy of Cornette and Danny Davis, especially Cornette. When Jimmy found out that Nigel McGuinness worked for Ian Rotten, that was it. I said, Jimmy, you're going to have to kick out half the fucking locker room. I said, half these fuckers have gone over there and worked for Ian. So, but he didn't care. He was the most recent that he knew about. So you sporting the Harry Barnett shirt there, the super great Harry thing there you got going. Rob, where's your shirt putting you over tonight? You're fucking up, man.
I'm not a mark for myself.
What's that?
That I'm not a mark for myself. So,
Shut up, Dicken.
Liar. Shut up. I beg you to leave more companies than Xbox got liver pills. And I don't think Xbox has any now that I think about it. What was the name of your faction? You had a faction there for a while. What were they called?
Well, we were called the Elite.
The Elite.
Yeah.
Now, people got on you about that. They said that had been done elsewhere, and I can't remember where. Who else did the Elite?
That was OVW. That was OVW, but
that was Adam Revolver and them, right?
Yeah, that was before. That was after. I can't remember.
Even I would have to criticize you to copy anything that Adam Revolver had done.
Well, I personally never came up with the name. I just went with it.
Who did? Who came? Let's find out who to blame here.
I don't remember if it was Vito that came up with it or somebody else, but it was not me.
Sounds like a Vito thing. Well, Vito had the shirts made, right?
Yeah.
Then you can bet he came up with it. At least now we know. We know.
Yeah.
And so Harry and Jason's got his own little logo. Jason, do you have the ability to put up your logo? Because when we go to you, turn your camera off. There's a break for everybody. Turn your camera off and your logo. No, turn your camera off and then speak.
There you go. There's my logo right there.
That's Jason's logo. So everyone's got a logo, or at least everybody had one. And
Dicken.
Dicken had one, but it was someone else's. Someone else.
Yeah.
And he's not a mark.
Both of mine are someone else's. Look, Superman, the Monday Night Raw logo.
Yeah. Well, it used to be the biggest sin that you could do in wrestling was to wear someone else's T-shirt. You would never catch Jerry Lawler putting over a fucking Bill Dundee shirt, vice versa. And but there weren't a lot of shirts back then. I can count on one hand how many shirts were sold in the 70s and 80s. You just didn't see a lot of wrestling T-shirts then, and Lawler was one of the only heels that got by with it, but he drew all his. And I was among the first that ever had Jerry Lawler T-shirts. I had a white one and a black one, and I think I had a total of 3. I had a yellow one, a white one, and a black one. Those are the 3 Jerry Lawler shirts I can remember. And I promise you, he didn't give me any of them. I had to buy those some bitches. He's worse than I am. He don't give anything away for free. And but the thing is, Jerry Lawler was making about $400,000 a year back then, and I wasn't. So he had a little bit more of the ability to give away those shirts than I had. So, I told you to have some material ready for me tonight, Jason, in case we needed it. What do you got? What else?
Well, I got a question for Harry Barnett.
I'm going to try about 15 more minutes if we can.
I'd like to know how everybody in the UK feels about the WWE UK division.
Oh, I forgot they had that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think anyone over here, anyone across the world forgot that they had it.
They even forgot it over there? You think those would be the ones to remember it?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, all they've done with it is put the title on indie shows.
Well, I heard Tyler Bate has some heat on him. And
who?
He was the old NXT. He was the old UK champion. He lost it to Pete Dunne recently. But I heard he has some heat on him, and I think what would help is if they came out with a manager who was a Butler type, kind of like on Batman, and the Butler always followed him to the ring, and he called him Master Bates, just like the the Butler on Batman calls whatever that kid's name is.
Now you know that OVW had that Maurice. Yeah, we had a black butler named Maurice, who was the manager of Rene Dupree, who was a subdivisionary manager of Bolin Services. And I had Jerome Croney, and I had head nurse Lulu, and I had Maurice, who also was Mo Green. He was Mo Green when we took the butler thing off from him. And I think he was an Indiana boy, Dicken, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think he was.
And we did the butler thing here, and he would even interfere in matches by pulling off his white glove and just bitch slapping you just to piss off the babyface wrestler.
Wasn't he the guy that managed Cliff?
What's that?
Wasn't he the guy that managed Cliff?
I know that the APA stole him from somebody they were feuding with when they were here. APA was here for several weeks, and Maurice was stolen, and Maurice actually made it to a SmackDown show. It was either Raw or SmackDown, but he actually made a couple of shows up there. I don't know how long he was there, but he made a couple.
I think that'd be a good thing for Tyler Bates, though.
But wasn't he the guy that managed Cliff Compton? Or was that when you were gone?
My Alexa, for whatever reason, just let me know that it's 8:17. And I'm getting a weather report.
But I think that would be good for Tyler Bates. And the guy would be able to get him over because he could just stand outside the ring while he's wrestling and get the whole crowd would just start cheering and chanting Master Bates.
Starts reading me the fucking news in the middle of the show. What the fuck's up with that? Is this show this boring that Alexa interrupts it and just starts giving me the weather and the news? And here's an interesting side note.
Here's something to talk about.
She was giving me the news and the weather and told me what time it was. Maybe even Alexa says, you don't need to wrap this shit up. So we're going to go about 12 more minutes, and I think that'll be enough for the people. That'll be about roughly a 90-minute show, and I try to keep them under an hour these days, but I figure for the reunion show, we could go a little bit over. And so what's everybody up to now? What's everybody involved in? I know that Jason's involved in comedy up there in Dayton, Ohio, and has a couple of new podcast projects going. And then that leaves me and Harry and Rob. Because I'm looking at Rob, but Rob's name is up. I was looking at the little box. I was like, where the fuck Rob go? But Rob's up on the screen. So, Rob, what all you into now? I'd heard you talk about you might be moving out of state coming up sometime soon.
Depends on where work takes me. Right now, I'm kind of working for the Evil Empire here in Louisville, which is LG&E. If you remember quite correctly, we were 3 days late on a payment for LG&E, and they shut off our electric when you.
I recall.
I had the CPAP machine, and I remember calling up.
Hurry, didn't we?
Yeah, I remember calling them up, and we gave some poor lady an earful, and you called them a motherfucker. I don't know how many times.
Yeah, I forgot about that phone call.
Yeah, I'm working for the Evil Empire.
We didn't pay no reconnection fee either, did we?
We did not.
Yeah, the electric bill was 3 days late, dead of fucking winter, and they came out and cut the electric off with me on oxygen, supposedly, and a CPAP machine, which I was and never used. But you would have thought that I was a day away from death.
Yeah.
When Chris got done with them on a phone call, and I think Dicken chimed in on it too. But it was not good for the people at LG&E. So we went somewhere to eat, didn't we? Go to like
Roosters.
We went to Roosters, and you're right, it was Roosters, and We went to Roosters and feasted on chicken for 2 hours, and we came back, and by some miracle of God, we had power, which normally if LG&E turns your juice off, you'll be lucky to get that juice back on. You could be down there with cash in hand to pay your bill, and you'll get your juice back on when they feel fucking like turning it on. Normally 72 hours later. Well, within 2 hours, we had our power back on.
Well, I'm sure that lady at LG&E told one of those dispatch guys, said, if we don't get somebody out there, this old man's going to wheel up in his wheelchair and, kick our ass.
Rob Dicken, I regret bringing him on the show tonight because he's made me sound nothing like a worthless bum piece of shit. I've been evicted from his place, evicted from another place, won't pay his fucking electric bill, has conned everybody out of food. He double dips on furniture purchases. He just made me out not to be a very good person at all. Ben Hamin made me out to be a better person. At least he said who did he say sat on my lap? What was the pretty little black girl? Alicia Fox, God, I forgot she did that, but Ben Hamin must have locked it in his memory banks. But no, they all used to do that because they were all buttering me up because I was the commissioner on one show and the heel announcer on another. And they all knew that if they were in good with me, that I'd go to bat for them with Cornette and get them more TV time. And that's how Sosei got on TV and Mickey James got better positions. And Russo loves Mickey James with a passion.
I thought Mickey got a better position because of a certain someone.
Well, that didn't last. Remember, she dumped him. She used to date Cena, and she dumped Cena for a job guy.
Couldn't she see him?
Huh?
Couldn't she see him?
Couldn't she see him?
You can't see me.
She didn't see him for what he was. No, she didn't see him for what he was. I can't believe you still hold your microphone like that. You see me? I got 19 fucking rocker arms over here, and you couldn't get one. They make things that'll do that for you, Harry, where they'll just hold the microphone for you.
I'm waiting for him to say his last name twice, just like Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah. And answer me this. Here you got the blue mic, and your logo's predominantly blue with some red. Your logo would look unbelievable on that microphone. Why have you not done that?
Let me return your question with a question of my own. How many times do you think I've used this mic since you fired me?
Now, Jeff Lane did not show up tonight, and I've accused Jeff Lane of having me fired from my own show because when he and I got into it pretty rough on the show over Donald Trump. He told me not to bring up politics on the shows anymore, that I was alienating half the audience. You're pissing off half the crowd. Why would you do that? We're having people unsubscribe every time you badmouth Trump. I'm saying you're full of dog shit. If that was the case, then Jimmy Fallon wouldn't have a show. Colbert wouldn't have a show. Corbin wouldn't have a show. Seth Meyers wouldn't have a show. And countless of the daytime talk shows wouldn't have shows if mentioning Donald Trump's in a negative light meant you didn't get viewers. That's bullshit. And it's well documented that only 70% of the people only 30% of the people, roughly, and 24% of registered voters voted for Trump to begin with. The Democrats did not show up because it's like, hey, the Reds are playing the Oldham County High School Colonels today, and tickets are $25. Come on out and see the game. And you're going, well, why in the hell am I going to go watch the goddamn Cincinnati Reds beat the shit out of a high school team? And that's what it was when Hillary was taking on Donald, is that it was the professionals taking on a high school team. Nobody, including the Trump organization, nobody thought he had a goddamn chance in hell to win. So why would you bother going out and standing in line to cast a vote that you are sure is not going to count? But the uneducated, no offense to stupid Republicans, but the uneducated and the rural people, which many of those don't have the educational opportunities other than to get in the car and go to where the goddamn schools are. But those people were the ones that were looking for a better way. And somehow this rich billionaire, Mark Cuban says he's not a billionaire. Mark Cuban was asked, he says, you're in the billionaires club. Is Donald Trump a real billionaire? He says, yeah, if I loan him $500 million. So that was his answer about Donald Trump. But so there's countless shows on television that prove you can badmouth Donald Trump and still get tremendous ratings. And then all of a sudden the ratings came out on Podcast One and on the Russo Brand Network. And I was informed that the ratings since I had joined the show had gone up over 22%. Well, glory, hallelujah. You can badmouth Donald Trump and the ratings go up. How the fuck did that ever happen? So, and for various other reasons, because it was a Cornette aligned person coming to join the Russo network and a Southerner coming to join the Northerners, because everybody on that show is from New York. And then you got me from Kentucky. And so there were some elements there that created, well, we got to check this out, because the Southerners joining the New Yorkers, a Cornette guys joining the Russo show. So there were various reasons for it to turn out. And then just like with all the other shows where I joined a strange person's network, is that they had to warm up to me. They had to figure out what the shows were about. And even on Cornette's show, they hated me for the first several months. And then I had more fans on Jimmy's show than Jimmy had, because they figured out what the fuck we were doing. So I don't know where the hell we were going with all that, but that's where it ended up at. But so why, Harry, did you fade away from all your other shows? Because I know you were doing more than just mine. What made you fade away?
As Dicken can probably tell you, it's just too much work. Like, for one show a month, it's just, as fun as it is to sit here and talk with you for all this time, the work that goes into it it just adds up. And
you could be right. Now y'all see why I don't do it. It's too much work. I was convinced Google Hangouts that I could do it. He says the videos are so easy to do and so easy to upload. Supposedly they'll upload directly to YouTube live shows, to where you can be live here and on YouTube. And I said, well, if you can figure out a way to do that on Facebook, because my numbers on Facebook have been very good, stack up very well against some current WWE stars who do Facebook lives, who get nothing. And I mean nothing. When you're getting under 100 live views on a Facebook live show, then I don't know what the fuck you're bothering for, especially if you're a former WWE star. If you're a chef in LaGrange trying to get somebody to watch your cooking show, maybe 100 views will do it for you. But when you're a former WWE star and you're holding Facebook lives, and the two that I have in mind, I've never seen them crack 100 views yet. Don't know what to tell you. But I won't embarrass them. That's not what I do. Like I heard Donald Trump say today, I'm not a braggart. He said that today, guys. He said it. He said, I'm not a braggart. Okay, well,
the linguist. That's for
I
sure.
guess an asshole and a braggart are the same thing then. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Now, Dicken, I know you're a political guy. I've got a quick political question for you.
Yep.
What are the chances? Because we all know about the dossier. We all know about the memo. And then there's the Republican memo that just came out. And, of course, today it was voted unanimously to release the Democratic version of the memo. Now we know Donald Trump gets to review that. He's got 5 days to review it. And then Donald Trump is going to make a decision whether or not to release the Democratic version, which he claims the Republican version cleared him of all of these charges. So he's innocent. This proves that they were all lying. They're all bullshit. And he was carrying on today like a fucking 8-year-old kid that found out his Christmas present was in the closet unwrapped. I mean, that's how he was carrying on about this. What are the chances, do you think, Donald Trump's going to look at that Republican version and say, oh, well, yeah, we should show this?
Well, if he ever read the Republican version, he wouldn't have wanted to release it anyway.
Well, of course he didn't bother to read it. It was 4 pages. And the original was like, what, 40?
Yeah.
Like we really thought he was going to read it. He wouldn't read the 4 pages.
Yeah. He didn't read, because if he would have read it, he would realize that there was a bunch of baloney in it. It didn't matter anway. And it kind of blew up
worse than what they already did.
So as far as the Democratic,
the Democratic one ain't going to make him look any better, right?
No. But here's what I think. I think, to be honest with you, he's going to pass. He's going to actually let it go through. There's a 0% chance. Because if you've noticed, if there's any one characteristic about Donald Trump that you've seen throughout the time that he's been in office,
right,
is he has the ability. His ability to not crack under pressure is unreal. Because he doesn't he doesn't crack under pressure to anybody. Like, he does not care. He just does what he wants. And that's it. He doesn't care if it's popular. He doesn't care anything.
Zero level of common sense, I think, might be a better way to put it.
Yeah.
So no, he's not going to release it. And of course, everyone's going to say, well, why not? You release the Republican version. And here's what I found out today that I didn't know. the Senate and the Congress can go back and re-vote on this. And if they vote like 60% or 66% to release it, which it was unanimous today, they're going to release it whether he fucking likes it or not.
Yep.
And so now what you've got are two opinions. You've got and I treated you guys good on politics today. You didn't get much, so you're going to get a little now. But what's killing me is that the CNNs and the MSNBCs, the NBCs, the ABCs, the CBSs, the what's the independent news there? The PBS. All these guys are carrying on like he might, once he reviews it, he might bury himself and release the Democratic version. Like there's a chance in hell he's going to do that.
No,
because he thinks he's been vindicated. Now, well, all the Democratic side's going to do is unvindicate him if it's going to do anything, and he's going to want that information out there. No, but he's going to look like they're all pointing out is he sure looks like a guilty son of a bitch. Whether he's guilty or not, he sure looks like one. And when you don't want people investigating you, it's like, Kenny, we're going to investigate you and all the foreign girls that you have forced to have sex with you. We're going to investigate that. Oh, well, okay. Well, good luck with that one would be my line. Good luck. I mean, to see who you come up with. I want to meet these girls. And I would challenge you to do that. Now, had I forced 8 Spanish girls to have sex with me, 4 Russians, 3 Asians, and 2 partridges in a pear tree, I would be, holy shit, no, don't look into that. Please, whatever you do. That's what I would do. But if I hadn't done anything, it's like when I got into it with the bald guy and left the Raw review show with Russo. Russo says, well, Kenny, because they knew I had serious big-time dirt on the bald guy, and they're begging me not to release it. And they said, Kenny, Mr. Bolin, how would you like it if we revealed that we had some dirt on you? Do you want us digging through your closets? I said, man, I talk about all my skeletons on the shows. Thanks to Cornette, there is no dirt you can dig up on me. He's revealed everything. And if he hasn't, I have. We brag about the stupid shit that I've done. So what are you going to pull up on me? Go right ahead. So I dare them, please. Whatever you can find. I'm anxious to see if you got something we ain't talked about yet. I've talked about all the stupid shit I've done. You were a meat scammer. Oh, God, how am I ever going to recover from that one? I made a book out of it. Crying out loud. So that's what I'm saying. If you got nothing to hide, you don't worry about it. He's awfully goddamn worried for somebody that ain't got nothing to hide. That's just the common sense thing of it. If I got nothing to hide, I double dare you to find anything. And if you do have something to hide, then I'm going to do everything I can to keep you from looking. Kenny, where do you keep your cash at? Well, whatever you do, don't look under the bed. So that's what he's doing. So, Harry, anything to add to that? And goddamn, Jason, we just totally ignored you on that.
I have nothing to add to that.
I can't believe that Russo comes in and just starts burying everybody that ain't got hair. What the fuck was that about? He just comes in and points, well, who are all these bald fucks? And apparently Ben Hamin with a rag on his head. We can't prove if he's got any hair or not. He didn't defend himself, so maybe he's bald too. So just comes in, immediately bashes people without hair. I know I've got some, but I apologize for you. It'd be like if he pointed out all of us were fat, and then here I sit. I wouldn't feel good about it. Fortunately, the rest of you ain't as fat as me.
There you go, Dicken. Does it make you feel better now that I got my hat off?
Well, that's an hour and 35 minutes. So let's get parting words from everybody. And if this is the lowest rated show ever, I won't be doing one of these in the next 14 years. So let's get some parting words from everybody, and then we'll wrap this thing up, and we'll do another show another time.
Who's going first? I guess I am.
You started this thing.
Myself.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well,
if you got anything you want to plug, go ahead and plug it. Now I feel like Russo. But Mr. Bolin, what do you got to plug? And then we spend 40 minutes doing that.
Kenny, I've got nothing to plug. I don't have any shows going on. I don't have any wrestling going on. So,
I guess we're gonna have to get her and eat some goddamn kingfish soon, then, or Clark. Well,
Clarksville seafood.
I don't deal with Clarksville seafood anymore. I cussed those some bitches out about a year ago.
Supposedly they remodeled.
Yeah, they claim. Well, that's what they claim. When I found out that they fired a kid for having autism because they found out he was getting paid, I went on social media and told everybody what they were doing. Then mysteriously they were closed for a few days. And then mysteriously they were closed for a few weeks. And then mysteriously they were closed for several months. And I think they were down for the better part of almost 6 months, give or take.
Yeah.
And then they reopened and they'd done, there's no way in hell, Chris and Maya saw it and they said, there's no way in hell that's a 6-month remodeling job. But yeah, I think
they do, sweep the floors or something.
What's that?
What they do, sweep the floors or something?
Yeah, possibly. No. But yeah, I didn't go in because I swore I'd never set foot in there again. But Chris and Maya wanted their scallops and something else real bad that day. And Adam, the guy that was here whose internet money ran out, heard of jukebox money? Well, he ran out of internet money. His little slot machine ran out, and then so we lost Adam, my publicist. I might want to look at getting a new publicist with better internet. Maybe I'd get promoted a little bit better if I had a guy who didn't have AOL dial-up. So, but yeah, the Clarksville Seafood shut down for a while. I'll never set foot in there again. They're pieces of shit. I mean, you fire a kid with autism just because you found out he was getting paid. That's pretty fucking low. And so even though they do have the best fish in town, I'm not going to eat there. So fuck them. And I'll eat kingfish. Be just as happy because I got all you can eat fish at lunch on Monday through Friday from 11 to 3. Excuse me, 11 to 3. All you can eat fish are kingfish. You can't beat that with a stick.
No.
And Marshall, I'm scared to ask you what the fuck you're plugging because you keep plugging that fucking cookie thing you do. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say if you haven't already.
Connection is marvelous, by the way. It looks like you got broadband shit going, even though you're in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, I was going to say if you haven't already, please. What's that?
I didn't know they had internet in Dayton.
If you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast. We Don't Have Cookies. It's been going for 3 years, done 188 episodes. It's usually a lot of fun. Sometimes it's not.
Episodes. I'm on a lot of those.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you could,
the best of Bolin 1 and 2.
Yep. And very well received too. Everybody seems to love those.
Well, I was on it. I don't know why I wouldn't be.
And if you can, like the Facebook page, facebook.com/We Don't Have Cookies, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just just search for We Don't Have Cookies on YouTube, and I should come up somewhere in there.
Let me get Ben Hamin's 2 plugs in. He has a couple websites. We Don't Have Virgins Anymore. That's one of his websites. And we Don't Have Horny Wives Anymore. That's another one that he came up with. And, you know, how you going to be around Ben Hamin and have a horny wife? That's probably not going to happen. I don't know if we're going to have him back on the show anymore. He was really insulting to a lot of the non-infidels that are here today. Harry, anything to promote over in your end from England, and we'll throw it back to Jason and wrap this bad boy up.
Funny thing is, I don't have anything to promote anymore, but, you know, since I left you, I've taken to doing a lot of art and stuff and crafts.
Yeah.
Doing the
look at that. There's the Harry one. I've been hearing about that. Now I have not. I hear you've been working on my version. Is that true?
Yeah, I haven't got anywhere near finished. It's drying in the background down there.
It's drying in the back. There's a lot of people say that about me.
As you can see,
he's drying off in the background.
Down there with a few others.
I see that there. Well, go ahead and pull it up here. Let's take a look at it.
All right, hold on.
Or is it still wet? Never grab a bowling when it's wet. I've always given that warning to everybody that'll listen. Jason ignored that warning. What we got here? He's encouraging me to sell these. It looks like a lot of trouble.
Well, it depends how good at art you are. But I haven't done any sort of. It depends how good at art you are. Not you.
Well, I suck at it.
Someone else. But I haven't got very far with it. But we got a bit of a body. We got the skin.
I look like Stewie. I look like Stewie from The Family Guy. Well, maybe
you'll get your hair another day.
We'll do this again in 14 seasons, and maybe it'll be done by then.
Maybe about 14 days.
14 days? All right. We'll do that. And Rob, when we're going to get together for dinner, man, we need to do that soon.
Just let me know a day and a time, and we'll set something up.
Probably just meet over at Kingfish on the River if you want. Let this weather break a little bit, and we'll have to get over there. Hopefully, a couple more weeks. The Ohio River will thaw out. How you can walk over and see me now, the way it is.
Yeah.
And, Jason, we got your plugs in. So Go ahead and wrap his mother Hubbard up, and we'll do this again in 2 weeks.
All right. Well, that was episode 2 of season 14, the Bowling Alley reunion show. And it's unfortunate that Joe
one more show and you pass the great brain laced and backward hat fucker. If you can only make one more show.
I was going to say, it's too bad they couldn't be here today to join us.
They couldn't be here because we wouldn't let them. Oh, they were dying to be here so they'd actually be seen for a change. Be tied in with the Russo brand and the Podcast One network. They'd love to be here, but they weren't welcome because they're little pieces of shit and I didn't welcome them. Right along with that piece of shit, Tim Ash.
You know, I saw where
rumor people are out there saying he's going to sue me if I keep talking about it.
I saw where Lanny Poffo was on somebody's podcast the other day, and I really want to get him on your show.
Well, that ain't going to happen.
I know.
Don't forget the Iron Sheik as well.
Yeah, the Iron Sheik and
Cena Senior.
Licking Lanny.
Licking Lanny. Yeah, that was back in the day. We ran a lot of people off that original show.
I do have a question. I promised everybody that asked me that I would ask you this. At least 2 people have asked me.
It's too late. The fucking show is over. You should have thought about it in 90 minutes.
Has Spider ever paid you the $500?
What's that now?
Has Spider ever paid you back the $500?
He did pay 140 of it.
Okay.
He paid 140. That leaves 360, folks. For you Republicans that voted for Donald Trump, that leaves 360. Got to help them out a little, you know. You'd think I hate Republicans, and it's not just the ones that voted for Donald Trump. I don't hate all Republicans, just the ones that stand by a groper and a rapist and a mental delinquent, you know, just those. The rest of them are all right. And Ben Hamin. I wonder who Ben Hamin voted for. That crazy son of a bitch. Just looking to drop a bomb.
You voted for Jill Stein.
Dicken, is your maid done over there? I saw your maid, one of Ben Hamin's women over there earlier. Is she done tidy enough around there?
Yeah, she thanked me, and I threw a stone at her, and she left.
Stone? Well, yeah, you got to throw a rock at them. What else in the background there? It looks like, is that a mini fridge?
It's up right now. It's a bunch of junk because we had to clean out one of the bedrooms.
Yeah.
Because we got a baby coming, so.
Yeah, that's your fault. I guess.
Well, mostly
Amazon guy. Oh, there is talk going around that I may rival you in Amazon deliveries now because we looked up my calendar. There's a thing on MSN where you can click it and it shows all the deliveries that have been made to your home the last 2 years. Woo! Me and you got a sickness, buddy. Me and you got a fucking sickness.
We do. We do.
That goddamn Amazon man's hunchback coming to my house anymore.
That's what my wife tells me too. She tells me I need help. So
yeah. We both might need it because according to that calendar, I have some serious problems. I went looking and was like, God damn! So I had to go back like 2 years back into September 2 years ago to see where the Amazon man got a day off coming to my house. Yeah, I mean, it must have been a snow day or something. I don't know in September. So yeah, we wear Amazon out. So, and I know if they come to Jason Marshall's house, Jason, you think you lived in BFE, Rob? I think Jason might give us a run for our money.
Yeah, I think so.
There in Ohio, what's the city in case Ben Hamin wants to drop a bomb on your house?
It is Cincinnati.
You don't live in Cincinnati.
Well, I'm not going to tell him if he's going to drop a bomb on
Ben Hamin to drop a bomb.
Do not tell him to drop a bomb on Cincinnati. That's favorite sports team.
Get the Reds on opening day or something, and then the season will be over. Well, wait a minute. They just have to play that game, and then the season will be over.
Well, yeah, if they drop the bomb, it'd probably help them.
And we picked up, I bet we ain't signed one fucking player, have we?
We picked up 2 relief pitchers, but ain't going to matter. So,
and I bet I can't name neither fucking one of them.
Probably not.
All right, there we go. 2 relief pitchers. Yeah, I watched
World Series. Here we come.
Yeah, well, only if you're in Houston. And you have a 5-foot midget playing on your team. No offense to midgets. I don't want to get that shit going. But that a Tuve guy's not very tall. That's just all I'm saying.
No, he's not.
All right, let's wrap this damn thing up, Marshall.
All right, well, that's it for this episode. I think Kenny did say good day.
I did say good day.